In this video, I will show you how to add a Tumblr feed to your Shopify store quickly and easily. The first thing that we need to do is open up Elfsight. This is the tool that we will be using to build the widget, and I've linked it in the description below. Go ahead and click on that link and it will take you straight over to this page. This link also ensures that everything connects properly when we embed it. From here, just enter your email into this box to sign up for free, and then on this next page, create your password. Just like that, we are signed up and ready to go. Okay, so once we are signed up to Elfsight and we have an Elfsight account, to find the Tumblr feed widget, the easiest way to do this, rather than scrolling all the way through these hundreds of widgets that are on here, is just to go to the top of the page, and then in this search widgets box, we can simply click in and search for Tumblr. Perfect. Right here, we have the Tumblr feed, so we can go ahead and click into it. And in here, it's now going to ask us to choose a template and give us a bunch of different templates to choose from. So we have like a masonry dark for a darker theme website. We have a timeline option, a grid option. We then have a regular carousel, a small widget. So just go ahead and choose the one that you like the look of the best, but keep in mind that all of these are completely customizable. So we can choose one and click continue with this template. And then in here, this is where you want to enter the Tumblr URL. So let's take this example. We can open this up, but you just go to Tumblr, you find the Tumblr page that you would like to add. And then all we need to do is copy this URL and then paste it right here into Elfsight and click on add. Just like that, these are all now going to be added, and that's how we can add the Tumblr feed. Then from here, we can go down to filters and we can choose if there are specific keywords that we want to filter by, specific posts, hashtags, or dates, and we can have only specific posts on here if we would like. Then we can go down to layout, and this is where we can start playing around with how this looks and make it fit your website better. So right here, we can click into a grid layout, a list layout, a slider layout, a carousel, or masonry, and then depending on which one you choose, you can see underneath this customize layout area is going to change slightly. But we can go down. The only one I wouldn't recommend playing around with is the width or the height. Just leave these as they are, otherwise the dimensions can get pretty easily messed up. But we can go ahead and choose things like how many items do we want to show per page before we have this load more button, how many items on mobile, the item spacing between each of these blocks. So if I set this to 40, you can see that expands. If I move this back to 20, it's going to be a little bit shorter. And then we can also choose if we want to show this load more button or if we just want to have the posts on this page. Then we can go ahead and we can also choose if we want a widget title to appear at the top. We can change what this says as well as adding a caption. So that's the layout. We can then go down to post and we can choose the post style and how this is going to look. So I quite like the original. I think this looks awesome. We can choose what happens when somebody clicks into one of these posts. Is it just going to show this pop-up where we can choose between feed or classic, just like this? Or alternatively, instead of having that pop-up, we can just say it's going to take them straight over to that post. So now if I click on it, it's going to open up Tumblr onto the post that I just selected. So you can choose which one you want to have. And then finally, we can go down to the style. And in here, this is where we can really customize this and play around with the colors and fonts and everything like that. So the first thing is, do we have a light or dark website? We can select that. We can then choose the accent color, which for this specific widget doesn't really make too much of a difference. Next, we can go to font. And by default, this is going to be the same as your Shopify font, but you can change this to any of these other fonts if you would like. And then down here under customize elements, this is where we can really play around with the colors. So we can go into background, for example, and we can choose whichever background is going to fit our website the best. We can then go to the widget title and we can choose the alignment. We can choose the title color, the caption color, the links color, the fonts, and we can go down and do this for all of these different options. So just play around with customize elements and make sure the colors fit your website the way you would like them to. Once we have this all created and we now want to put this on our Shopify store, all we have to do is click on publish. And then Elfsight will take us over to this screen where we can now choose a plan. Now, the plan I recommend getting started on is this free plan, because this is completely free, of course. This will allow us to put the Tumblr feed onto our website, drive traffic, and just see how this works, see if you like this. And then later down the line, you can upgrade to one of these paid plans if you would like to, if you would like access to more of Elfsight's widgets, or if you want more monthly views. But for now, we just want to select the free plan. And once that is selected, Elfsight is going to give us this piece of code that's going to allow us to put the Tumblr feed onto our Shopify store. So all we need to do is click on copy code, and then we can go over to our Shopify editor. Inside of the editor, all we need to do is under template right here, we just want to add a section, and the section that we want to add is called custom liquid. So we can type this in and select custom liquid. And then in here, inside of this liquid code box, we simply paste in the code that we just copied. And after a few seconds, if this doesn't show up immediately, we can just click out of this. But just like that, the Tumblr feed is now added to our Shopify store.